Welcome back, everybody, to your once-a-week news show where you hear all the important stories for the week. Because who has time anymore to listen to the news? Anyway, let's jump in. Tex, what happened to your hat? What do you mean? Oh. Well, if he's not going to wear a hat, I'm not going to wear my hat. Fuck that. We're going to start this week in London, where on Wednesday there was a terrorist attack just outside the Parliament building. 5 were killed, including the attacker, and 50 were injured. ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack. This is why ISIS needs to be destroyed, and the people who are coming in need to be screened, so these kinds of attacks don't happen on US soil. Well, actually, he was a British-born citizen who was being monitored for a time, but they deemed him as not a threat. But I don't want to talk about the attacker because if his name goes down in infamy, then he has completed his goal. Instead, I want to talk about the choice the United Kingdom has to make. Because now, do they do what they did to Downing Street because of the IRA? Or do they leave it open to the public? Most people don't know. Staying in the UK, they, along with the United States, have announced a device ban on airports coming from several majority Muslim countries. These come after reports of people being able to make bombs out of their laptops, tablets, and electronic devices. Now you can still check in your devices, but they'll be set in the hall. Instead, they'll be set in like the cargo instead of with you on the plane. Now some people believe that this will lead to more theft in airports because, well, you're checking in very expensive laptops, tablets, and that. But who knows for certain? Now, the ban just applies to direct flights to the UK and US, and the countries are as follows. For both the UK and US, it is Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. For just the US, meaning those countries, and then these ones as well, Morocco, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates. While for just the UK, it is Lebanon and Tunisia. And now on to the main story for the week, the American Health Care Act. Now the vote was originally meant for Thursday, but was postponed and ultimately pulled. Now this is the Republicans in Congress's first major defeat of their term because they do have the majority in both the House and Senate. Well, this is a good thing. Obamacare gets to stay and Trump takes the loss. I'm content with this. Of course you are. It's a win. Even though the federal government has no business in healthcare. Under your precious Obamacare, healthcare premiums rose faster than the wages for workers. Yes, but now millions have access to healthcare that couldn't get it in a free market, and those with a pre-existing condition can't get turned down. Granted, the fact that you can't be turned down because of a pre-existing condition is a very big advantage under Obamacare. But those who could not afford healthcare are now forcing those who could afford healthcare to have to pay for them. And also, you're penalized for wanting to opt out of healthcare because you just can't afford it. Yes, but with help from the government, no one should not be able to afford healthcare. Yes, but this should be a state-by-state issue where the federal government hands out grant money and the states deal with it how they see fit instead of trying to make a one-size-fits-all. Look, York, don't take any offense, but Obamacare is a mess. And Tex, the American Health Care Act will hurt a lot of people if it went through, because it's also a mess. But I know one thing you can both agree on. Both of you agree people need health care. You just don't agree on how they should get it. Now, one final, not worldly important news story I want to cover is this week was the last week of a YouTube channel, SourceFed Nerd, and People Be Like. The reason I want to cover this is because they, along with the PDS, are the reasons that I kind of wanted to make the show. Bring a bit of comedy into the news and also try and keep it centered, focused. But even though they're never going to see this, I still want to say thank you to SourceFed for just making. And that's all for this week. Be sure to come back next week to get your daily fill on the news. But until then, you can follow the channel at ShakeandBake Pod. You can follow me, Travers, at RyanTravers8. And if you want to get a little bit more involved, you can check out our subreddit, r/ShakeandBakePod. And if you're feeling generous, you can throw us a few bucks over on Patreon. If you want, all the links will always be in the description down below. Until next time, peace.